Hello and welcome back to the Quarter Cookery channel with our little quarters, Scarlett and Savannah.
Hi!
And today we're going to be making some lovely banana pancakes. So today's ingredients are really quite simple. We have got 2 bananas which are going to be mashed by Savannah. We have 1 teaspoon of baking powder and 350 grams of self-raising flour which Scarlett is going to sieve into a bowl. We then have some butter, which is just for cooking, so there's no set weight that you require. We have 2 eggs, we've got some blueberries, we've got some raspberries, we've got maple syrup, vanilla extract, some sugar, and some whole milk. So, whilst the little quarters are preparing the batter mix, I'm just going to quickly get the fruit compote on. Really, really simple. In a pan, just melt down a little bit of butter, throw in the blueberries and the raspberries. You're going to put in just about a tablespoon of water. As you can see, that's just going to start to sizzle. And then again, a tablespoon of caster sugar. And we're just going to turn the heat down on that. And we're going to let it just simmer and soften. And then once that has broken down for about 2 or 3 minutes, we're then going to add some maple syrup and we're just going to boil that up to make a lovely little fruit compote to go with the pancakes. So Scarlett has sieved the flour and she is going to put a well in the middle, just there. So Scarlett, with the fork, if you make a hole in the middle. Savannah has mashed the bananas and she's going to add the milk, the whole milk, to this. And she's going to start mixing that together. That's it, Scarlett. Can you crack 2 eggs for me? Into that bowl and then straight into here. So what we're doing now is we're now going to prepare all the wet ingredients and the dry ingredients and we're going to add them together. So we've had our fruit now softening for about 3 minutes and I'm just going to put about 2 tablespoons of maple syrup and I'm going to let that boil up and reduce down whilst we finish off the pancakes. Scarlett has been whisking the egg and that's ready to add to the wet mix, so if you pass that over to Savannah for me please. Straight in, Savannah. And at the same time, I'm going to put in about a teaspoon of vanilla extract. That's it, Savannah, and start to whisk that up for me. Once this has all been brought together, we're then going to add the wet ingredients to the dry ingredients. So we've got our fruit sauce bubbling away just nicely, and that's just going to simply reduce down until it becomes a little bit more sticky and a little bit thicker. We've got our wet ingredients for the batter just here, and we have our dry ingredients, and I am just going to add those together, pouring the wet into the well, and Scarlett start to fold that together quite quickly. As we bring this together, it's going to make a nice thick pancake batter, and then we're just going to let that sit and rest in the fridge just for about 5 or so minutes whilst the fruit sauce reduces down, and it just gives time for the batter mix just to rest before we pop it into the pan to cook. So you can see now that this has reduced down and it's starting to go all thick and delicious, so we're just going to let that continue now to simmer. Whilst we do that, we're going to heat our pan with a little bit of butter, and at the same time Savannah is slicing the bananas which we're going to be having with our pancakes and our fruit sauce. These pancakes are great to have at breakfast, at lunch. You can pre-make them and wrap them, you can pop them into storage, into the fridge for a couple of days, and then you've got something really sweet, really nice to have, but actually it's got plenty of banana in there, so it's pretty healthy as well. So you can see now we've got the butter really hot in the pan, and we're going to add a good ladle's worth of this lovely, luxurious, thick banana batter straight into the pan. And we're going to let those now start to cook and bubble away. We usually leave them for about two or so minutes, but just keep checking the underside. You'll start to see it rise and bubble, and we just want to make sure that it browns nicely, and then we can flip it over, ready to cook the other side. Our compote now is absolutely delicious and ready to go. So I'm going to take this off the heat, and I'm going to just let that cool down slightly before we serve. So we've just flipped the first one, and as you can see here, we've got that lovely caramelization on the top here, and we're going to let that cook for about the same amount of time here. Now what I like to do is, because obviously as the butter cooks in the pan, each time you do a fresh one, just tip off the residual butter and put a fresh little bit in, just so that the butter doesn't burn inside the pan. So we have the butter again nice and hot, and we're going to go in for the second, straight into the middle of the pan. Let it fall out, don't worry too much, it'll naturally take its shape. And whilst we let that one start to cook, Savannah, would you like to bring your first one over? And as you can see here, what we've got is a lovely, thick, risen, bouncy, beautiful pancake full of goodness, full of banana. And that's just going to sit and rest ready for our taste test. And over we go. Gorgeous little caramelized pancake just there. Ready to cook for another minute or so. So we're at the all-important taste test. We've got Scarlett and Savannah having their beautiful banana pancakes, and we've just served it with a few little chocolate drops on there and some fresh banana, and the girls are going to tuck in, they're going to dip into their fruit compote, which is nice and sticky and sweet and gooey. And what do we think, Savannah?
I like how it's really like fluffy inside. Really
fluffy inside. And Scarlett? What do you think?
I like it, all the textures in it, and the banana really like makes it very nice. And this is so sweet.
So sweet. Brilliant. So a really simple recipe that you can do at home with the children, but it's really flexible. Pack them up, keep them in the fridge, take them on picnics. The fruit compote, stick it in a jar, seal it. It will last a good 7 to 10 days in the fridge, and you can have that with toast, with crumpets, with anything. Hope you've enjoyed today's recipe, and we look forward to seeing you again very soon.
Bye!